Hello and welcome back, and today we're continuing our look at apps for Synology NAS. We've covered loads of mobile applications in the last few weeks, and it continues further with us talking about one of the apps that I think is one of the crowning achievements from Synology. It is DS Video. I know I'm talking a big game there, and let's log out there because let's face it, we want to see this properly for all it's worth. Log out. This is one of those applications that I think the NAS brand has spent a bit more time on there. Now, I've mentioned in the past that when you do buy a NAS, you're going to enjoy your files your way. And Synology's always seemingly been a brand that has prioritised first party. Now, a lot of people buy NAS systems to take advantage of Plex. Plex Media Server is this great application where you get to enjoy your media, but you get a lot of the user interface of things like Netflix and Prime Video, where you're able to get all that lovely information about the background of files, all the thumbnails, all the information on artists and stuff like that, and watch lists and more. Now, DS Video and Video Station on the desktop equivalent, if you are using DSM in a web browser, is Synology's attempt to recreate a lot of that in a first-party app. Everything from transcoding to the scraping of metadata online and in the files you upload, and I think they get closer than anyone else. They lack a couple of integral features that I think to do with editing files on the mobile app that could be better, and I would also add that a lot of the configuration of DS Video for mobile, and that's Android or iOS, needs to be done on the desktop first, such as pointing albums. But once you've done that for the first time on the desktop, I think DS Video from that point onwards does a very good job of not only keeping things very stress-free in enjoying your video, but also displaying it in, I would argue, one of the best ways. Not perfect, but it's probably the closest I've seen from a number of apps in a number of years. They've really pulled it forward with DS Video, and really in the most recent iterations are pretty good. But enough praise, let's get straight into it. Now, I'm using an 1821 Plus. As you can see at the top there, I am using internet level access. I could switch to the network if I chose, but I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be using internet access for the video files today, and I will also add that I have disabled audio on this phone because as much as I'd like to show the audio on these files, the YouTube copyright bots will probably flame this video in a number of ways that will not be beneficial to all involved. So, before we go any further, we can look at the options of the app. If we go to the cog at the bottom, we can go ahead and see if it remembers a lot of the details to do with accounts and IPs, as well as verifying certificates if you choose. But on top of that, you can go to the information corner there and get information about the app to do with versions and a little bit more about it in the background from Synology. So from this point, let's go ahead and click log in. And from here, we've got the user interface. Now, it will remember the options that you chose. I have pointed the device at 3 albums. That's a movie album, TV shows, and the Plex test that we've done in previous videos. We can go to the configuration options here and get a bit more information about the device's behavior. So, for example, straight away, you can say with video transcoding whether you want it to enable transcoding, and that is the reshaping of files on the fly between the NAS and your client device. So, for example, if you've got nothing but 4 and 8K video, chances are you're not going to need files that big for your mobile device. I'm using a Pixel 2 XL, and even I enable transcoding because there's no point getting those massive files streaming on your phone when it's a great deal easier to get the file changed in shape, codec, format, everything, and compression to a better version. You can even adjust the default video settings to be auto-adjusted depending on your network behavior and your device, or you can immediately get the device to rescale by default. Audio pass-through and changes can be applied, and of course you've got even more options with regards to enjoying your media on more of a kind of quality of life improvement, such as subtitles, mark unwatched where you left off, subtitles, that sort of thing. And on the bottom you've got their download path, because every file that you are viewing on the app can be downloaded. You've got a very small amount of uploading and configuration options in the mobile app compared with the desktop, as mentioned, but you still have the ability to pull files directly from the NAS onto your phone to be enjoyed in the app or to be enjoyed in things like VLC or to be enjoyed on the applications on your client iOS or Android device. You can even enable the remote control play. So again, a lot of that can be done outside of your devices if you choose. A lot of that can be done if you're streaming files, but I would enable remote control anyway in the player. So if we go to, for example, the playlist here, we've not enabled any playlist, but we will enable one later on. And again, you can create a playlist if you choose. So let's call this one test. We'll do this one for public sharing. And we're not going to enable a validity period there. And if we like, we can go in and go into the watch list of files we may have watched and pull those over. Or later on, as we go through the application, we can, let's move the recorder there, we can go ahead and add things to the playlist as we go. So if we go into TV shows first, we can see 4 TV shows I've added to this device. We can go into Black Books there. And once again, the metadata has been scraped online. We've got thumbnails, we've got the background. This is an album that I own of TV episodes, and it's one that the metadata for both the album cover and the episodes are all there. So again, mark as watched, play if you choose. If we go for the episode 1, we can get at the bottom a nice summary of the episode. You've got class, you've got the certification, you've got reviews online there. You can, add that to your favorites if you choose. You can go ahead, add it to a watch list, and of course, you can add it to that playlist that we've just done earlier on. So again, marked as unwatched at the moment. You can download this file directly to your phone if you choose. And I'm not going to go ahead and do that for now. I'm not going to give it permission. But again, if you want to download files, you can. Delete the file remotely if you choose. And of course, mark as watched. But of course, let's watch this file. You can say if you want this to have subtitles or not. I'm going to go ahead and click play. And we can now look at a number of the options on this application for when a video file is being played. So we can look at changing a lot of the quality levels in terms of audio and changing the equalizer. We can change the playback speed if we choose. We can change picture-in-picture mode, so the video you're watching can be floating over everything else you're doing. Then you can say whether you want the playback to happen in the background of your phone while doing other devices. And of course, a bunch of other options with regards to picture quality and how you want it to be playlisted. But those options do seemingly disappear quite quickly. It's a small gripe, but I will say that it's one I don't quite like. Have a timer to make sure the app signs out in case you fall asleep. And of course, night mode where the light can be dimmed. These are all great options that only really Synology do offer. Now, at the top there, you can talk about whether you want hardware transcoding to take place or software decoding and encoding. In other words, same as transcoding, but in a different direction. And at the top, loads of options there with regards to configuring the file. And again, a lot of those options we've seen on screen, but available in a more detailed fashion there at the top. The same goes with rotation and more. Some really, really good options there throughout on an app that we are playing. A really good thing. And again, we can skip forward. Nice and simple. And again, you can change picture quality on the fly if you choose. You can go ahead and lower the picture quality and increase it as you see fit. So with software decoding, there's just a lot of handy tools here. All of them available on the app. And this is one of the main reasons I'm such a big fan of DS Video. And again, all the way there, lots of options as well, and lots of setting options too there that we can navigate with regards to the UI as well as the playback. So it can be very, very technical if you choose, or you can go ahead and keep it simple and just keep all that on screen with a file being played. Let's rotate the phone back. And here we are back on the desktop there, and it's showing where we're up to and where we've played up to there on the app. It's that straightforward. It's a lovely app, and it even shows which ones that we've watched, as well as breaking it down into seasons if we choose. Now that's just TV shows, and that's one I've already added to the database. With movies, there's a similar level of detail. If we go into the matrix there, a file that we do use quite a lot for our performance testing in previous videos at the low end. This is a 720p file. We can see the whole cast is there. We can see the description for the movie, and we've got those similar options to favorite, to add to lists and bookmark it, and even share it. Let's add it to that list there as well. And of course, you can share the file remotely with other users if you choose. And now you have a link that you can share on social media platforms for messaging and more. Lots of options there. And again, all of them at the top, you can enable that downloading and more at any time. And again, lovely options, and you can sort it out by the folders that they're in if you choose. Lots of different things that you can flick between. Finally, we can go to those Plex tests, and again, these are ones that are more customized. Now, let's flick between these files here, change away from timeline, and just have a look there. These are our big, high definition, high performing files. These are massive files. So this is like, for example, the jellyfish file there. That is just a huge file there that almost certainly we're not going to be able to play. But if it does play, this playback is going to be incredibly highly transcoded. As you see, it's just too big a file. And for those of you that follow my Plex testing, you'll know that this is the biggest file in terms of density, quality, size. It's a 1.4 or 1.7 gigabyte 30-second file, so it's kind of unfair to play that one. But let's go ahead and play. It's a nice straightforward one there. And this will be one that the system will transcode. And again, I'm not going to rotate the screen this time. But again, lots of different options there with regards to playing it back. It's lovely and straightforward. And that's about it. This has been DS Video for Android and iOS. I've already talked about the things that I like, and there's not actually that many things I don't like. The only things I don't really like is it lacks a few of the configuration options and the ability to point albums at certain directions to say that I want TV shows, for example, to add a few more folders that are on my NAS and scrape for data and scrape for other TV shows, but all of those things are available on the desktop. Likewise, the sharing option, although you can share links online with those share links and add dates and stuff like that on them, you can't really cast from this device first party. You can use third-party tools to cast from the screen of your DS or DS Video app onto supported network media devices, but it's not really built in to DS Video. But I know a lot of people don't use it, and I can see why Synology might not invest heavily on it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, click like, and if you want to learn more, click subscribe. And of course, there'll be more mobile application videos coming very soon. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.